The Dark, an original piece by Michael Webster. As a kid, I was never really scared of the dark. Wasn't frightening to me, it was just there. At night meant staying up and doing kid stuff like playing video games and talking to friends. I mean, I didn't really fear anything about the night. It wasn't until after I turned 15 that I really learned what happened at night and why people fear it. I was sitting in bed, just playing on my phone, getting sleepy, when I heard a noise come from the corner of my room. I looked up, and it seemed like there was some kind of large, thin figure. It was hunched over and crouching. It looked pale and thin, and it didn't seem to notice me. I would have called for my parents, but stupidly, I figured that I didn't need my parents to come help me. I was 15. I had this. Oh, how wrong I was. It just sat there, eating something. I threw a pillow near it, and it didn't move. It wasn't until I shined my phone light on it that it moved. Its head whipped up to look at me. Its eyes. Good Lord, its eyes. They were sunken in, pitch black with small white pupils. It was pale and tall and had long fingers that extended in points, stained with red. My mind was terrified to even begin to question what the red was. I couldn't move. It wasn't like in the horror movies people watch where the adrenaline kicks in and suddenly you're racing through the house doing all sorts of heroic feats. In reality, you freeze. The fear gets you and you're just stuck. Look up, too. You can't do anything. All you can do is freeze and stare and think. It just looked at me and I froze. I became even more frightened when I saw what it was eating. It was an arm. A severed, adult human arm with giant teeth marks all across the bicep. I dropped the phone and jumped about a foot. I ran to the room light and flicked it on, and the thing was gone. I don't know how I got to sleep after that, but I must have, because I woke up in the morning on the floor of my room. I tried to tell my parents about it, but they just shrugged it off. You're playing too many video games. It's all those scary movies. Whenever I was alone in the dark at home, I saw it. I must have been the only 15-year-old to have a nightlight, but I felt like it was either that or die. It worked. I didn't see the thing anymore. I mean, I heard it outside my room, scratching at the door. But as long as there was light in my room, it didn't dare to come in. It had been a year, and I guess I got cocky. I tossed out the nightlight, and that same night, I heard the noise. That familiar chewing. Only now it was next to me. Right next to me. It was just crouching on the foot of my bed, eating. I didn't move. I couldn't. I was frozen. I didn't even shake. I was just frozen. But I knew what the noise was. I got off the bed, slowly, crouching like a wild animal, and seemed to study me. I regained control of my body and grabbed the phone I kept on my nightstand. That's where I really screwed up. It clearly wasn't expecting its helpless prey to move. The light made it lunge for me this time, and I screamed. It sunk its long, sharp teeth into my shoulder. It was a searing pain, like someone had just stabbed me, was slowly twisting the knife. My bed stained with red, and it brought its head up, taking a chunk of me with it. Through the pain, I kicked it off, and it leapt out my window. The next night, while in the hospital, doctors said I was attacked apparently by a wild dog who had somehow snuck in through a window I left open. It was the only explanation the doctors and my parents had. I'm 25 now. I have my own home, and I still catch the creature out of the corner of my eye during the day, wherever darkness resides. I now know why kids are scared of the dark, why they want as much light as possible. Let me tell you, my home just lost power, and as I write what is sure to be my last words, I can hear an all too familiar
Bow.
Yeah.
Drop your head.